Hello, it's Shan from Yogafinity here. And if you've got achy hips or a sore lower back, then this practice is for you. These exercises are intended to increase your mobility, so your range of movement in those areas, and also strengthen through your core to support your hips and your low back more. And these are exercises that you can practice every day to hopefully feel more easeful, stronger and pain-free in those areas. I recommend that for this session you have a cushion, so a relatively flat cushion that you can rest the back of the head on. And this is not essential, but it's helpful, a resistance band. And I'm using one of these that you can loop around, and we're going to loop that around our legs later. And these come in different strength values. I'm starting today just with a light one, but as you get stronger, you're going to want to increase the resistance, and you can get a pack of these that go from light up to extra strong. Neither of these props are essential though. You can simply just do this practice without anything to assist you. You just need you. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to begin by lying down on our backs. Set yourself up so you're comfortable, with your knees bent and your feet out as wide as your yoga mat. Allow your knees then to fold in. Draw your chin forward slightly to lengthen the back of your neck, and rest your hands to your tummy. And it's always helpful to start a practice just by connecting to your breathing to settle in. So if you'd like to soften your eyes or close them completely. And with your hands resting on your tummy, just feel the tummy rising and filling as you breathe in, and emptying, sinking back as you breathe out. Give yourself a deeper breath in now, and you'll notice that the breath moves from the tummy up into your ribs, right up into the chest. So see if you can really expand 360 degrees here with that inhale, and then exhale down. Let's take two more. Breathe in, fill up and expand. Breathe out. One more full breath in. In and out through the nose with this breathing. And breathe out. Return your breathing to normal. Open your eyes and just slide your feet together a little bit closer. Then stretch your left leg out the length of your yoga mat and hug your right knee close. As you take your hands across the right shin, flex both feet and hug that knee in closer. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, curl the shoulders from the floor and bring the nose up towards the knee. Inhale, relax the back of the head down. Then exhale, lift up again. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, relax the head back down. Take your left hand to the top of your left hip and use your right hand to the side of the knee to invite that knee out to the side. So you're keeping the leg bent and the foot flexed. You're keeping the pelvis level. You can imagine like a little frog leg here. And then you can apply some gentle movement. Up and down. Little circles. Bring your knee back to center. Take the other hand, so the left hand to the outside of the knee, and move that knee across your body. Peel your right arm open, palm faces the ceiling, and turn your head to the right. Inhale, move your knee back to center, and we'll change sides. Right leg lengthens, left knee hugs close, hands across the shin, flex your feet. Breathe in. Breathe out. Curl up, nose to knee. Inhale, soften the back of the head back down. Exhale, rise. Inhale, release. Last one. Exhale, lift the shoulders from the floor, rounding your spine. Inhale, bring the back of the head down. Then right hand to that hip point to keep your pelvis level. Left hand to the side of the knee to open that bent leg out to the side. Keep that left foot flexed, and then those little movements, not in the ankle, little movements from the hip socket here. Little circles. Staying connected to your breathing, just be mindful you're not holding your breath. Knee back to center, right hand across the knee there, bringing it across the body, and then you open through your left arm, turn the head away. Inhale, center, bend both legs, take both feet to the floor, about hip width apart. Hands beside your hips. Now this next movement is going to apply to many of our exercises today. So as you breathe in, letting your ribs expand, there's actually a natural curve of your back here, and you can even slide your hands down to feel that. Now as you breathe out, as you exhale, close that gap. So push the back down into the floor and press your belly button in towards the spine. Your hips stay low, stay on the floor. Then inhale. You can see I've got a natural curvature to the spine now. Exhale, keep the sacrum, base of the spine down, but push the mid back down and press the belly button inwards to the spine. We're going to take 5, and that was 2, so breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to keep that now and straighten one leg away and then bring it back in. So hands beside your hips, breath in. Breath out, core tightening. And now we straighten the right leg out. Maintain that core connection. Inhale, bend the leg back in. Exhale, extend. Just try to keep that right heel floating from the floor, but keep the leg low. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take 10. So do your own count. As you exhale and press the heel away, flex the foot. Remember, you're keeping that core activation. Back presses down into the floor. Belly button presses down towards the spine as you extend the leg on the exhale. And be sure to do those 10 rounds. Then take the right foot down. Just take a breath or two here to release the abs. Okay, second side. Inhale. Exhale. Push back into the floor, close that gap, keep the core connection, and extend the leg. Take your 10 now. Exhaling as you straighten. Inhaling as you bring the leg back in. Remember, you're not dropping that heel. You're keeping the leg low as you extend it the length of your mat. And now comes the hard bit, which is your core is working pretty hard here. Try not to take that tension up into your shoulders and your face. So just slide those shoulder blades down the back. Relax your hands and soften your jaw. When you've done your 10, left foot to the floor, hands to tummy, couple of releasing breaths. Now the next exercise is a little bit more focused on the thoracic spine. So that's the middle to upper part of your back. And many of us are quite hunched and rounded when we're on our phones, when we're on our screens in the day. So this is really to counteract that and to bring your awareness to the fact that as you move throughout your daily activities, try not to close the chest. So you want your chest broad, your shoulders back. You don't want everything collapsing forwards. So reach your arms up overhead. You can keep the cushion there if you want to, or remove it, whichever you prefer. Now, as you inhale, bend your elbows and take what we call cactus or goalpost arms. Your elbows are wide and in line with your shoulders. Exhale, core activation, then stretch those arms back. Inhale, bend the elbows. Exhale, core connection. Reach the arms back. Try to extend the arms through to the fingertips as much as you can. Inhale, bend. If you find that cushion's a little bit restrictive to you and you want to feel the floor more, then remove it. Give yourself just one more here. So inhaling, cactus arms, exhaling, belly button down, close the gap back to the floor, reach back, and then circle your arms down beside you. Take the palms flat. Take an inhale, fill the ribs. Exhale, back down, belly button down, push into your feet and lift your hips up for a bridge pose. So you're coming up to your upper back. Now you're not puffing the ribs out now. From here, we're going to lengthen the front of the body by drawing the belly button down, pressing towards the toes and hugging the inner thighs. And we're going to hold here now in our bridge pose. Ripple down through your spine slowly. Then hug your knees to your chest. Hands across the shin, just roll out the back, side to side. Then take your knees over to the side. We're going to turn onto our tummies. On your tummy, take your arms behind you in a V-shaped, palms down. Now that same action that we did on our backs, we're going to do on our bellies. So inhale and then exhale. Squeeze the bum and push the pubic bone down into the floor to connect and tighten the core. And then inhale. You're going to do this with your hands down and your head resting. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the backside, belly button to spine, and relax. Take two more like that. Inhale and then exhale, tighten. Now that core connection, we're going to maintain, but lift and bend the right leg. And then try to maintain it as much as you can throughout now, but you need to remember to breathe. So 10 times here, bending the leg in and maintaining that core connection, squeezing the buttocks throughout. Switch sides when you've done your 10. Checking that you've got your core tightening posture first of all, and then left side, bending and straightening. When you've done your 10, fold your arms, rest your forehead down to the back of your hand, and with your feet about hip width apart, just wobble your hips side to side, just to release the spine. Now, we're going to rebend the right leg, flex the foot. We're going to reconnect with that same core activation posture, squeezing the buttocks, drawing belly button to spine. You're going to keep your head rested down to your hands, and then you're going to pulse with that right leg, lifting the thigh, lifting the knee away from the floor, and shooting the sole of the foot up to the ceiling. So continuing here now, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep the hips level, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Change sides. Bend your left leg, squeeze the buttocks, belly button to spine, core connection, core tightening posture. Forehead down to the back of the hand, and then lift and pulse. Keep the foot flexed. You're lifting the knee, lifting the thigh for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Okay, if you've got any neck issues for the next exercise, I'd like you to keep your forehead resting down to the back of your hand. If your neck is absolutely fine, you're going to take your hands now to the back of your head, interlace here. Then inhale, lift your head, lift your elbows and your chest, and lift your feet. So this is a variation on your locust pose. Be mindful that you're not sending your chin up here. Keep the neck long and natural. Exhale, relax. Inhale, round 2. Release. Round 3, lift up. Squeeze the back side. Lift the elbows, lift the chest. Lift the feet. And relax. Breath or 2 on your belly. Okay, press yourself up. If you have a resistance band, get a hold of that now. If you don't, not to worry. The exercise is still relevant and still effective. So take that resistance band and loop it around your lower legs. Lie down on your left hip. If you're feeling this a little bit too much on your bony bits, you can always add an extra layer here. You can add an extra mat on top. You stretch out your left arm now. Rest your head down there. Just check you're not in a dish shape or a banana shape. So you're in pretty much a straight line. Right hand in front, flex your feet. One is stacked on top of the other. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, touch the foot lightly down. Inhale, lift, find your full range of motion here and hold. Exhale, lower. Continue for 10. This is working the outer hip muscles, glute medius that often get neglected. We need every part of the hip mobile and strong. So the inner thighs, the hip flexors, the outer hips, the hamstrings. When you've done your 10, roll on to the other side. Right hip is underneath this time. Loop that band around the shins. Rest on your right arm. Check your alignment. And then lift up on the inhale. Exhale down, 10 rounds. And if that band lifts up a little bit too high, you can always just ease it down. You probably want it about midway between your ankles and your knees. And you might start to notice that you've got a weaker side. So this is my weaker side. I'm feeling this a lot more in my left hip, and I know that's my weaker side. I know that's the one I need to work on. And that is the side where I get pain in my hip because it's weak. When you've done your 10, you're there. And then you can bring yourself up nice and easy, no jerking movements. And the next exercise is going to focus on our hip flexors. And to do this one, you're going to sit up in an L shape. If you have quite flexible hamstrings, you're going to be able to do that and sit tall. If you're tight at the back of your legs, this is going to feel really quite uncomfortable. So in that case, bring your hands behind you to support you and lean back a little bit, but you're not slouching back and collapsing. You're encouraging that length through your spine. You're sitting as tall as you can. Once again, active feet. Now, so hands beside hips or behind you. On your inhale this time, you're going to lift that leg and it will feel like a ton weight probably. And we're going to take 10 of these. Minimize any movement in the upper body. You're just working the hip flexor and the quad. Ten on the right leg. That's a hard one. A little shake out in between. You can rub the thighs as well. And then second side, set up in your L shape, hands beside you or hands behind you. Here we go. Lifting on the inhale, lowering on the exhale. And try not to thump that heel down. Lightly does it. Make sure your jaw's not doing the work for you here. When you've done your 10, just point and flex the feet a little bit. Circle out. All right, and then tuck your feet to one side. You're coming up to a kneeling position and then a low lunge position. So step your right foot forward and you want to find like a 90-90 or square low lunge. Now, think of what we've been practicing throughout our session. This is your neutral spine, and to tighten that core, belly button draws in. You can see now my tailbone is lengthened down. I'm in what's called a posterior tilt. Now, we're going to interlace our hands and take them to the top of the leg. We're going to roll those shoulders so we're upright and proud. We're going to keep that core connection. I can already feel the stretch there in my left hip flexor and quad. So breath in here. Now keep a hold of that core connection, but let your hips move forward a little bit. Maintain the connection while you breathe normally. Relax your shoulders, relax your face, but keep that core connection. All right, and release that. Keep your hands to the tops of the legs, but start to straighten that right leg. So you might want to wiggle the toes forward a little bit and shift your bum back. So you can see I've got a long spine. If it helps, you can bring hands to hips to hinge forward. I'm not rounding at all in the upper back. If that's feeling okay for you, without locking the front knee, come to the heel and lean forward. So this is a lovely release for your hamstring. Use your inhale to lift your way out and find your square low lunge on the other side. Check in, you've got a neutral spine to start with. Change that by drawing belly button to spine, lengthening the tailbone down. You'll feel that right side wake up. Keep the activation through your core. Interlace the hands, place them to the top of your left thigh, and then let your hips move forward, but don't let go of that core connection. Now keep breathing here. Let go of that connection. Ease your hips back. Begin to straighten through that front leg. So maybe wiggle the toes forward a little bit. Dip. So leaning forward with a long spine. That means a straight back pretty much. Option, come to the heel, but don't lock out the front knee. Limbering forwards. It's a nice sensation to the hamstring. It's not forceful. If you'd like a little bit more activation with that left heel, dig in and then pull back. Inhale to ease your way out, and we'll finish in a child's pose. So if you're comfortable doing so, sit your seat to your heels, take your knees apart, mine are as wide as the yoga mat, and then slide your hands forward. And you can see I'm keeping my hips back as far as I can. If your hips are here, no problem. If you need to slide cushions under your bum, absolutely fine. Reach your hands ahead of you. Let your elbows relax to start with. As you sink your chest and your head down to the floor. But then really to stretch across your upper back, I'd like you to lift your elbows off the floor. And keep your arms straight and hands reaching as far as you can. Sink your chest down and your forehead down once again. If that's easy for you, come up to fingertips, do the same thing. Sink the chest down, lower the forehead down. All right, slide your hands back in. And that concludes your practice. It's your SOS for your hips and your back. And I really hope it helped. Build this routine into your daily life. Of course, it's not every exercise that you can possibly do, but it's certainly a good start. And I really do hope that you feel the difference. And I'd love to hear your feedback. So drop me a line, drop me a comment. I'll be so happy to hear from you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.